Okay, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to our channel. We have our guest here, Shannon Li from WeCrypto. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you, Iman. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, exactly. I mean, before I gotta start with the video, maybe can you share a bit more about yourself and how you get into crypto for the first time?
Yeah, for sure. So, hi, my name is Shannon, and I got into crypto largely because of the idea of DAOs. The first time I heard about a DAO, I was like, wow, this is game changing. This is basically like a stock IPO, except it's every DAO has their own set of rules, and it's kind of like a different set of SEC rules for every DAO, right? So I thought that was fascinating, and that's what sparked my interest in Web3 in the first place. And this is back when I first started to use Twitter in the tech startup space. And I realized that because Web3 was starting to pick up speed, I really wanted to learn more and read more about it. At the time, I was also transitioning in my career. I started out in TradFi, or traditional finance, in retail banking. So it was non-equities trading, but I'm very comfortable with like financial statements and things like that. But I realized that Microsoft Excel wasn't enough. I wanted to learn programming for myself. And so I did data science with Python, and then I started hacking smart contracts and dApps with BuildSpace, as well as another coding boot camp by Columbia University. And I just, the more I connected with people on Twitter, the more I realized like there's not a lot of women in crypto. And so there were like some communities that were organizing, but I never felt like I fit in, or maybe I didn't have enough money to get membership. For example, FWB, such a huge like entry requirement to become a member of that DAO. Or like other communities like Web3 baddies, I know like so many people have applied to enter this kind of inclusive women in crypto DAO that includes all genders and all orientations, but I never heard back from them for like 2 months. So I was like, I'm tired of waiting. Let me just create my own community. And that's what WeCrypto is. It is not income generating. It's simply a place for me to publish my learning and to connect with people over what they're learning, particularly women. WeCrypto has been on the back burner for the past month and a half because I had started and left my job at the DeFi protocol I worked for previously, and I've been on the job hunt since, although I'm not entirely in a rush because there is so much innovation happening right now that I'm just doing as much research and connecting as I can before I really devote myself to the next company that I work for.
Yes, exactly. I mean, yeah, that's your current situation. I mean, what was the aha moment when crypto is not going away? I mean, like when you decided your entire life, you devoted yourself into this industry.
Honestly, it was the idea of DAOs. I think I'm not a fan.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes. I was going to say, I'm not a fan of like speculative trading markets where you only care about the price. I am a huge fan of the idea that value creates value. So once I learned that a protocol could be used as an innovative engineering tool to create organizations, to create new software programs, I was like, okay, crypto is here to stay. And I've held that belief since 8 months ago, and I hold the same belief today.
Yes, exactly. I mean, since when? I mean, 2017 or 2018? Because some people, including myself, go for more other talk and learning by doing because the market is not, is in the market, right? Yeah, I don't know.
Are you asking about how I feel about NFTs?
And no, I mean, what's your involvement in crypto? I mean, since when? Since 2017 or 2018? Because there is, bear market in there, right? I mean, the bubble burst, right? Back in the days.
Yeah. So I've only seriously been into crypto for the past like 7-8 months. But crypto has always been on my radar. Like back in 2018, I had friends who would use crypto to buy things off of the Silk Road. like the dark web. And I was like, okay, that's cool, but like I feel like I don't know enough about infosec or security to trust myself to engage in the Silk Road, right? Do you know what the Silk Road is?
Yes, I know it's for illegal stuff, right? Yeah.
Usually, yeah. I just didn't trust myself to use the Silk Road, so I just never touched it. But that was the first time I heard about crypto being used in real life.
Yeah, because the founder itself created a DAO, you know. I mean, you know, free Rose DAO, and not only Assange, Julian Assange DAO.
Oh,
have you ever heard of that?
DAO?
Yeah, he created a DAO. Julian Assange is the founder of the WikiLeaks, where he got.
Yeah, I know who Julian Assange is, but I didn't know he created Rose DAO.
No, he's created. He created the Assange DAO. I mean, not only Assange, but also Rose DAO. I mean, it's different.
Wait, what is Rose DAO? You're losing me. What is Rose DAO?
Rose DAO is the founder of the what is called. What's your saying before? The dark web.
Dark web, Silk Road.
Yeah, Silk Road. The founder of the Silk Road is the Rose, you know.
Can you spell it out for me? I have no idea what you're talking about. Rose DAO?
Yes.
I Googled Rose DAO, but all I see are doctors showing up.
I mean.
Oh, Ross DAO. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know who Rose is, but Ross. Okay. Ross DAO. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. Oh.
Have you just find out right just now, or you just don't understand what I mean, or what?
I think you pronounced Ross as Rose. I thought you meant like the flower. I was like, I haven't heard of the flower DAO.
It's yeah, it's that's the Rose. That's why I get what is called founder of the Silk Road, right? It's the Rose. They created the Rose. That's why what's I don't know the what it's called. The people try to create a DAO nowadays, right? What do you talk on that? I mean, like Assange DAO or Rose DAO, yeah.
I think they're acting a lot like crowdfunders or crowdfunding, right? For a unified purpose, and I think it is effectively a little better than websites like GoFundMe, right? Have you used GoFundMe before?
Yeah, GoFundMe I use you know, to donate some home, you know, from Canada to Canada people.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. So GoFundMe, they have had issues where like their funds would be shut down sometimes, and it wouldn't be made, or like maybe people like posers, imposters would use GoFundMe to take people's money. And I think DAOs like the DAO to free Julian Assange, I think that's a really cool way to crowdfund transparently, and it allows people to see exactly where the money is going. So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, that's the DAO is all about. I mean, it's only about crowdfunding, or because the DAO is a complex system, right? Like in real life system. I mean, could you elaborate what's the DAO in general?
Sorry, what? Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, because the DAO itself is not only for crowdfunding, right? But also the DAO, it's you know, have a complex system in it. I mean, could you elaborate that DAO tend to accomplish? I mean, what DAO is trying to accomplish, beside of the crowdfunding itself?
Yeah, so like I said, crowdfunding is like probably one of the highlights that catches people's attentions, right? But in terms of like decentralized governance, it helps people engage in something that is truly transparent, decentralized governance, right? Being able to read a contract and be like, okay, this is what happens if I join the DAO, and this is the power I get when I join the DAO, and this power cannot be taken away from me except by the rules of the DAO, right? Is that what you're trying to get at?
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's kind of same like the system that we use already exists today, right? I mean, like the stakeholders such as the government who have already control the people. I mean, is that correct? Where the DAO, where you have the what is the most of the stake is the more control, more powerful you are. The more you stake, the more powerful you are. Is that correct or not? The concept is.
It does depend on the DAO. For example, you can stake, or like ENS domains, you can buy a lot of domains and get DAO voting power that way. It really depends on the DAO, I think.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's it's quite the same like the system that currently are today. But the difference is this is the decentralization, right? Yeah.
Right. Decentralization.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, WeCrypto. I mean, you mentioned about your project before about the WeCrypto. I mean, what was your main goal with WeCrypto? I mean, you try to like get as much people as possible to crypto, or what?
Yeah, so my main goal for WeCrypto was to onboard more women into crypto through community, education, and skill development. And how I plan to do that was whatever I was learning, I was going to publish real time what I was learning, right? And then eventually, I wanted to create boilerplate code for my community members and give them exclusive access to job opportunities, because a lot of recruiters are in my server, right? As well as people seeking jobs in crypto and Web3. Like I said, for the past like 6 to 8 weeks, I have put WeCrypto on the back burner because I was focusing on my previous crypto gig. And now I am just focused on research and looking for jobs. WeCrypto is not an income generating server. My goal was to kind of create service, turn it into a service for service DAO. And so kind of like learn your way to a job opportunity. That's kind of the business model of WeCrypto.
Yes, exactly. I mean, you focus on the community, right? Is that what you're saying, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, yeah, since you have like collaboration with the Unchained Capital about the Multisig, about Bitcoin Multisig, what was your is all about? I mean, is part of the WeCrypto collaboration, or just
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to give a shout out to the founder of, or the editor-in-chief of Femmes, Leigh Cuen. She's the wonderful journalist who wrote about me in TechCrunch about my passion for DAOs. And she created this community called the Femmes community. It has a magazine and it's full of women in tech and crypto. And they have quite a few bounties that you can select from for Femmes. One of the bounties was create a workshop for Femmes members about how to create your own multisig Bitcoin wallet. With Unchained Capital, you can create a stateless in-browser wallet to manage your Bitcoin. And I think that's a great idea. And as someone who's passionate about communication, education, and community, I was like, this bounty is perfect. I want this. I want to do this bounty. Yes, so yeah, it is a collaboration between WeCrypto and Femmes.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's kind of unique, you know, because in Indonesia it's not really happening right now, because where people only care about the price, not on the community. That's why people sometimes get wrecked without knowing what they know. So that's why it's really good that you're developing to the community, you know, because the knowledge is key. Once the knowledge take off, you gotta grasp the entire ecosystem. Right?
Yeah, I know some people are like Ethereum Maxis or Bitcoin Maxis. I think having a having a multi-sig Bitcoin wallet is just a nice introduction to the community of crypto and things like that. And also, Femmes is offering to like put a little bit of Bitcoin into your multi-sig wallet. And so I highly advise people who are getting into crypto to attend online tutorials or workshops, because oftentimes they will have free crypto to give away, right? And normally you don't want to turn that down, especially from a trusted organization like Femmes.
Yes, exactly. I mean, yeah, multisig is, there is a pros and cons in there because, there is what is called the case before where, the referral got, hacked to the what is called exchange, the Bitfinex. Have you ever heard of that? I mean, they use CoinJoin, right? And it's a multi-sig wallet, so that's why it's not really working in many ways. That's why it's there is a pros and cons in multi-sig. Can you elaborate what's multi-sig that try to achieve, or what?
Yeah, so multi-sig is multiple people own a single wallet instead of one person owning a wallet. And usually what happens is the funds in a multi-sig wallet can only be moved if everyone in the wallet, or a majority of people in the wallet, agrees, right? And so it's kind of like almost like a smaller version of a DAO treasury, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because the police have figured out where they catch the woman to CoinJoin the transaction, and the wallets have disappeared, or the police can catch them. And that's why I agree with you. It's I don't know. There is a pros and cons with multi-sig wallets. I don't know.
Okay. What about you? How familiar
I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. Yeah.
Oh, you're a Bitcoin maxi.
Are you Ethereum maximalist? Okay. Are you Ethereum maximalist?
Well, I am super excited about Bitcoin stacks. I think that's going to be really cool to see if people, how quickly people will develop apps on Bitcoin with Bitcoin stacks.
Yeah, I know. It's a project from Munip, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Sorry?
There is a guy who built on Stack. It's called Munip. He's one of the developer of Stack, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I have not heard of him. Okay,
what is his Twitter? Yeah, I can. Yeah, that's the Twitter handle,
Okay.
Yeah, he's created Stacks, the idea of the programming on top of Bitcoin. So yeah, that's pretty much, because the idea of Bitcoin that I love the most is the separation money of the state, because for the longest time we have in the history where Bitcoin, the fiat world is not really separated to the state, and that's why we get control. And we have in this situation when the gap between the rich and poor is quite large. That's why I find it fascinating, the idea, But I don't know. Maybe you are the Ethereum maximalist. What was your? Why Ethereum maximalist? Why?
I wouldn't explicitly say I'm an ETH Maxi, but I will say, like, Ethereum is one of the first protocols to enable DApp development on such a wide scale, right? So I think for that fact alone, in economics, we call that the first mover's advantage, right? Ethereum just simply, it was the first protocol to get widespread use and support for decentralized apps. And that's why I'm very bullish on the value of Ethereum. And I'm really excited to see what ETH 2.0 will have, like what type of impact that will have on things like MEV, yield farming, and things like that. Right now, MEV and ZK proofs, like those are such hot topics. And I think layer 2 developments and enhancements are going to be all the rage in 2022.
Yeah, exactly. But Ethereum 2.0 got delayed over time, you know. I mean, like they promised to make it happen by 2022, if I'm, 2020, if I'm not mistaken. But right now it's already 2 years, right? But the progress is still ongoing. I don't know what's the case in there. I have no info in that. But do you think that Ethereum 2.0 will deliver at some point in the future? I mean, in the near future, I mean, like 1 year or 2 years, because it's been 2 years since the announcement, right?
Do I think Ethereum will take over Bitcoin?
No, I mean, that the Ethereum 2.0 will take off. I mean, because
okay.
It's been 2 years since they promised to have a mainnet, right? But right now it's still the beacon chain, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, what I think is happening with Ethereum is they do not want to move too quickly. Like they want things to be extremely secure. Security is a huge concern for a lot of protocols, like the Solana hack recently, right? Like people are worried about things like sandwich trading, which is kind of an old tactic for DeFi now, but there's still a lot of like security risks in protocols. And I think that's why ETH 2.0 has been slower to launch, because they want people to be able to not lose their money without their knowledge, right? They don't, it seems reasonable to me that they're taking a little while longer than expected to launch ETH 2.0. The only issue with Web3 and crypto is that research is happening at such a fast pace, right? All these new developments, like everything is still being explored, and like security vulnerabilities are still like coming up out of nowhere. It's still really unexpected when they do happen. So I think honestly, if ETH 2.0 takes like another year or so, I think that's okay with me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there is you know, there is also contagion risk in the Ethereum 2.0, such as the testnet. You know, yeah, that's why the testnet is for, right? To test the network. I mean, the Spadina testnet is failed before the launch of the Ethereum 2.0 in the face of the beacon chain. That's why I think yeah, you're right. At the same time, it's because of the too many tests that failed in the process. You know, that's why they don't have the clear crystal clear where the project will take off.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. What I know you're a crypto degen. How do you feel about MEV and ZK proofs these days? I want to hear a little bit from you.
Oh yeah, ZK, it's zero knowledge, right? It's the part of the make Ethereum more scalable. But I don't know, because I'm not into Ethereum, I'm Bitcoin materialist. I just maybe later on I also explain ask about the question to you. I mean, the MEV, there is a problem in the invisible tax, right? When you have the gas fee at all-time highs, and what is called, it's not a glitch, it's not a bug, but it's a feature of the centralization, right? I mean, when you have entropy, you know, in the MEV, there is such a thing that you cannot control, right? I mean, I don't know what to explain, but there is a pros and cons. That's why I only care about Ethereum. That's what, because Ethereum is too complicated for me. You know?
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Why are you a Bitcoin maxi?
Like I said before, I only care about the separation of money of the states. You know, because it when you have yeah, centralized system like fiat that we have today. And we have hard money like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is hard cap. That's why there is a pros and cons within Ethereum. You know, Ethereum tend to claim that they are ultra sound money. Have you ever heard of that? Ultra sound money. It's harder than Bitcoin. They say.
Oh,
ultrasound money. Ultrasound money.
Ultrasound money.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard of that before. Ultrasound money.
Money, Ethereum. That's why Ethereum is trying to achieve, because they burn a lot of tokens with, that's only makes sense with when inflation rate surpasses the burn rate, right? Yeah. And the burn rate is surpassing the inflation rate, but it's not something that's really happening right now, because it's negate really what you said. I mean, not what you said. I mean, what the community said, because where you have such a thing that is ultrasound money, quote unquote, ultrasound money, it's gonna negate what you said, right? Because Bitcoin is hard because it cannot be changed, Not the fact it's deflationary, but Ethereum can be changed, so it kind of negates your argument. So when the Ethereum 2.0 takes off, there will be what is called change, right, in the protocol. So I don't know. That's a pros and cons in there. That's why I cannot explain it better in English, but that's the point I was trying to make.
So Bitcoin is like a lot more consistent and predictable, right? Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, because Bitcoin have a scheduled block and halving for every 4 years. And yeah, it's just Markov's law effect, when the supply is shrinking and not demand. Demand is just stay the same. The prices automatically go up, right? And then it's inevitable. So I don't know. It's just for me, for a Bitcoin perspective, I don't know. Maybe you have Ethereum perspective. I just, that's why I invite you to the channel. I'm just curious about it.
Well, if we tie this back to finance, right? For example, if we compare Bitcoin to gold, the gold standard, and then we compare Ethereum to something like Amazon, right? The price of Amazon, as Amazon develops more and more uses and practicality, the value goes up and up and up, but the price will fluctuate, right? Whereas Bitcoin and gold, everyone uses gold. Everyone uses Bitcoin to some extent, right? But as technology develops, we will see less people relying on pure gold and more people relying on like Amazon, I think. So that's just like a simple analogy for how I value crypto. And that's my perspective as a software hacker. I don't really trade DeFi tokens as much. So that's my perspective as a hacker and not as a trader.
Yes, exactly. I mean, you try to, you got a good point where you have Bitcoin is compared to gold. I think it's quite correct. And Ethereum compared to the startup like Amazon is, I think I agree with that. But when you have like hack, what happens in the recent weeks when you have, I don't know, maybe the network is not secure enough, or just the way it is, or what? Can you like give me like elaborate on that? Because sometimes when you Bitcoin don't, haven't gotten that hack before, I mean, because it mathematically secure by the miners, but Ethereum miners, I don't know, because of ABV or something like that, the hack is still happen. I don't know what's going on in there.
To be honest, I didn't look into why or how the hack was executed.
It's okay. Yeah,
I think one of my friends did tweet about it, and I retweeted them. But basically, they found a security hole in the smart contract for a Solana contract, I think. And that's how they got it. Like, I know there are a lot of DeFi traders, they use bots to monitor transaction details. So like they will go to a mempool and then scan all the transactions that are pending, and then depending on like the wait time for, or like the bid ask spread for gas fees, these bots will filter transactions to see where they can get the most profit from, right? Do you know how a mempool works?
Yeah, I know. It's a validated transaction, right? And they put it on the ledger, and the ledger is the mempool. I mean, mempool itself like it's like a pool, right? When you get filled into the transaction, but Bitcoin consists of 1 megabytes of the block. So I don't know what happens to it. Yeah.
It's kind of like a waiting line. Like if we use an analogy for like getting lunch at school or like in a huge cafeteria, right? Everyone is like shouting like, hey, I want Chinese food for like $12. I'll pay $14. I'll pay $20, right? And like different people are shouting out their different prices. Meanwhile, traders bots are like looking at the crowd and they're like, okay, who's going to pay the most money? And then how can I carry their transaction to the vendor and take advantage of the difference? So like, for example, if the Chinese food place is selling food for like $10, but people are willing to pay $12, $14, $20, then of course the DeFi trader with their scanning bot to scan all the orders coming in, they're like, okay, the person who offers $20 for a $10 meal, I want to take that person first, because that way I can get $10 profit instead of taking the order from the $12 person, because I will only get $2 profit from them, right? So like, that's how I kind of imagine a mempool works. And the Solana hack, just someone happened to be really good at coding a bot to take advantage of the mempool, I think.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's happens all the time. I mean, where not really to the hacks, I mean, like to the Arab pool, you know, when the bots in the decentralized exchange, such as Uniswap or SushiSwap, when they bring the price up and you cannot sell, and yeah, even though the market cap is trillion of dollars, you cannot sell anything. It's just numbers, and the price, you know, to the ground easily. That's why it's people who try to pitch DeFi with highest APY, I think it's irresponsible, right? I don't know. It's just my point of view. I mean, because I have ever read a tweet like this. I mean, there is a quote says that if the yield is too high, have you considered you might be the yield? I mean, it's kind of correct, right? I mean, when you have too much APY on the DeFi protocol, I mean, it's just you tend to have the risk, right?
Yeah. I just found the tweet where my friend Jonathan, right? They explained it very well in a non-technical way. So Solana is one of the biggest, largest crypto hacks in history. And the way he explained it is Ethereum only exists on Ethereum. Solana has a bridge where you can get Ethereum onto Solana by locking up the same amount with them on Ethereum. And the attacker found a way to withdraw without depositing real ETH. So like, it's kind of like if a check bounces, right, at a bank, right? Someone can write you a check for $3,000 and they can give you a physical check. And then you believe that you have a physical check worth $3,000. In reality, the person who wrote the check doesn't actually have $3,000, but you go to the bank and you try, and the person who wrote the check, they're like, hey, I gave you $3,000. Give me $3,000 cash. So they give you a $3,000 check. You gave them $3,000 cash. And then you try to go to the bank and cash out the check, but it bounces. The check bounces. So that's kind of a simplified analogy of what happened with Solana.
Yeah. The hack makes the works, I mean, the network is contagious, right? I mean, when you have the spillover effect, when the network cannot handle the kind of hack, they shut down the network, right? Entirely, Solana network, right? When the transaction happened, I mean, like when the hack happened, they shut down the network, right? Solana before.
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention at the time.
Yeah, it's about Solana. That's why I don't know. I also don't dive into the what is called the case, but I just read the news and I don't know. That's why I created a YouTube channel, to try to educate people because it's not about yeah. There is also the risk involved in this. Not only the highs and the sunshine and the rainbows. Yeah, it's just some things that you need to be aware of sometimes. Yeah.
To be honest, I've heard a lot of great things and a lot of terrible things about Solana. Like I know people are concerned about its consensus mechanism as being too centralized, but Solana does have an amazing user experience. It's just hell for developers. Like the best argument I've heard for Solana is if Solana had better documentation and just better tooling, then it would be a lot easier for developers to work with, like Ethereum. But that's why like people are racing to develop better documentation and better tooling for Solana. And I think once that achieves a significant level of development, then Solana will become as popular as Ethereum. But until then, Solana does have its issues, but it does have its benefits as well.
And there's L2 ecosystem such as Soluna Fox, right? Have you ever heard of Soluna Fox? So Solana, Luna, Terra Luna, and Avalanche.
Soluna Avex. Oh my gosh, that's
you can search. You can search by yourself. Yeah, that's the of the. I don't know. It's are you into L2 as well, or just on chain or Ethereum? I mean, yeah, because there is the scalability.
Yeah, I think L2s are all the way. I think multi-layer and multi-chain is the future.
Yeah, it does. I mean, when the Ethereum 2.0 take off, I mean, like the mainnet is already take place. Do you think that L2 will be disappear? I mean, because the scalability with Ethereum 2.0 will be much better than it used to be, right? I don't know. It's just the way the protocol works, right?
Honestly, I guess time will tell.
It's okay, yeah.
But I think layer ones will, as time goes on, layer ones will become way too expensive, and layer twos and layer twos, layer threes, layer fours, like the layers will just keep piling on, I think.
Yeah, because Ethereum 2.0 will scale the network. I don't know. It will outperform the layer 2 or and so on and so forth. So that's why I think only time will tell. I agree with you because we cannot predict the technology, right? I mean, the adoption of the technology, right? Yeah. Since you have, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Since you like mentioned MVV, you asked about me before. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, like, because you have a space before, right? Twitter spaces before about the MVV and the Zcash North. I mean, what is this all about? I mean, where you have MEV, like I said before, there is the risk in there. I mean, the problem with MEV is the invisible tax, right? What was your take on that?
Invisible tax on MEV?
Exactly. I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah. Right. So MEV has proven to correlate with higher gas fees. Like people who try to capture MEV, they actually make gas fees a lot worse for everyone else as well. My thoughts on MEV is that it is becoming increasingly more mature. And what that means in economics is when an industry is much more mature, there is less room for arbitrage, right? And so what I think is going to happen is MEV is going to, it's no longer going to be restricted to like mempools, but it's going to filter out to NFTs or like MEV of new developments or new bridges, things like that. Wherever there is a new software development, that is where a new wave of MEV capture will go to. So for example, simple Ethereum MEV, like simple transactions using Ethereum to buy other assets. I think that's pretty played out, and that's pretty like old news now. Now MEV is focused on, okay, how many ARB swaps, how many protocols do you have to hop in order to capture MEV? So things are becoming increasingly more complicated. And yeah, I think you're going to have to be a really great programmer, or you're going to need insider knowledge to know ahead of time when something is going to trade to capture MEV.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the problem is not only the programmers. I mean, for the sake of the miners, you know, I mean, because the miners validate the transaction, and when the gas fee hits all-time highs, they have the advantage of that, right? The benefits of the miner is to validate transaction, and they got reward from that, right? So, yeah, I think that's the balance of the, I don't know, decentralization. I think, yeah.
Yeah, there is kind of a interesting dynamic between miners and DeFi traders, and like how they're going to interact, especially with like ETH2 coming on, right? I think it could kind of develop into something similar to the Beltway system in America. So the Beltway refers to the highway surrounding Washington, D.C. in America, right? And what you have is the government and the military and like the people in the Federal Reserve System, they basically hire from each other. So it's a very kind of nepotistic, cronyistic, like people from the military get jobs in the Federal Reserve, and then people in the Federal Reserve get jobs in the government, and people in the government get jobs in the military, and so on and so forth, right? And so I think what might happen is traders will figure out who the miners are, and then they will start kind of like talking with each other. And
do you mean coordinated attack or what?
Writing deals. Sorry?
Do you think it's like coordinated attack or what? I mean, when you said collaboration, I mean, to the miners.
Yeah, it's kind of a dark forest issue, though. Do you know what a dark forest is?
Oh, I don't know. I just know about
dark forest theory.
Brute force. Do you know brute force? Brute force is the way to hack the cryptographic primitive.
Right. I think you could brute force it, but that's very inefficient. And given the hash technology and like the cryptography, it's really like brute force would take way too long, right? But what I mean by a dark forest is that there are incentives. So let me explain dark forest in this way. You're standing in a forest, right? Everything is quiet, and you look into the forest and you cannot tell if it is safe, but you cannot tell if it is dangerous either. All you know is you're hungry, you need to find food, you need to find water, you need to find shelter. And if you don't move, you will absolutely not have food, water, and shelter. But if you do move, there are two possibilities. You could find resources, or you could get killed by some animal, right? That's the dark forest analogy. And I think MEV traders and miners, they have incentives to work with each other, but they also understand that it could be mutual destruction as well. So it's kind of a dangerous game, but I think that could be a potential future in which miners and traders collaborate.
Yes, exactly. I mean, do you think that when Ethereum 2.0 take place, will eliminate the entire miner? Because it's also effects that you cannot, I mean, not you cannot, I mean, the miners itself will be disappear, and then the MEV will get solved, or I don't know.
That's an exciting idea. I have not thought about that. So I don't have
we'll eliminate minors, right? The idea from the beginning is proof of stake, but as time goes by, they try to like move from proof of work to proof of stake, right? There is a transition in between, like you said before. I agree with you. So that's why I just curious. What do your thoughts on that? I mean, it's a soft NAV or what or not?
Thoughts on the
Ethereum
of miners?
Yeah, Ethereum 2.0 with the miners and NBP. What's the implication of that?
Well, the implications of ETH 2.0 is that like you have to have the entry level to become a miner is now much higher, right? So that's both good and bad. Good because now you have people who are dedicated to mining Ethereum, but bad because if people want to start mining Ethereum, they now have to have a lot more than before, and maybe they can't afford it. Kind of like how when I tried to join DAOs, you know, some of the DAOs were really expensive and I couldn't afford to join the DAO, even though I was very passionate about the space. So I think what that means is it could potentially drive up the price of Ethereum, right? And what it means for miners is that you will see like miners are no longer going to be like people just curious about the space who just want to play around. Like these miners are going to be serious. And I think the space may become a little bit less degenerate and a little bit more serious, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like kind of corporate almost.
So it don't, I mean, it doesn't eliminate the miners, the 2.0, if 2.0 is
It doesn't, no.
Okay. Yeah, that's makes sense because sometimes I see that when you validate the transaction is by committed to staking, you know, not by proof of work, you know, because the name itself, Ethereum 2.0, is the proof of stake, right? That's why I kind of curious whether the mining operation is still exists or not, whether it when 2.0 it takes place.
Okay. I know we're almost reaching an hour.
Okay.
How much more time do we have to talk?
Oh, yeah. You wanna end this interview or no? Because I still have so many questions, you know. I don't know.
Oh man, maybe a part 2. Is that okay?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you wanna end this interview or not? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, before I end this interview, maybe Bitcoin price prediction. I know it's no financial advice, it's just for fun. Do you have any big, specific Bitcoin price prediction or Ethereum price prediction or?
Wow. Okay, my price predictions are. I think one very telling sign is the Super Bowl ads for crypto, right? Like there's so many crypto ads during the
Yeah. That's why. And the thumbnail is you know, exactly. The thumbnail of the crypto YouTubers. I don't know.
Right. So I think that will definitely boost prices. Another thing is it's really funny because JP Morgan Chase, their CEO, Jamie Dimon, he's very obnoxiously saying like, oh, I don't believe in crypto, blah, blah, blah. And he says one thing, but what JP Morgan Chase is doing is they're creating more crypto tools. And JP Morgan Chase is actually buying a lot of crypto despite what their CEO is saying. So I think if you read in between the lines, you know, a lot of traditional finance institutions, they want to quietly gain a majority power. And then once they have enough like crypto in their reserves, then they will be like, oh yeah, by the way, now we stand behind crypto.
Yeah, I know, by the report news. Yeah.
Yeah. So long term, I'm very bullish on the price of Ethereum and Bitcoin. Short term, that too much.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, you don't need to worry, you know, about the short term. You know, I mean, it's happening. You know, don't listen what they say. Listen what they do. You know, just
exactly.
take what they do, because they don't want to lose power, right? When you don't want to lose power, they try to figure out by, you know, maybe getting involved with the OTC market or just, you know, spreading adoption in the shady way. I don't know. It's kind of shady, but it's just the way the network works, you know. Yeah. That's pretty much about it.
Well, yeah, Iman, thank you so much. This was an amazing talk.
Sorry?
I said, Iman, thank you so much. This was an amazing talk.
Okay.
We have so much to talk about still.
Yeah, and maybe because it's too late in New York, so that I need to wrap this up. Maybe last one before I
last question.
Okay. How to find a job in the Web3? Because you mentioned about Web3 and mental health, right?
How to jump in? So like how to get started with Web3?
Yeah, how to get started, how to find new people, how to develop. Yeah.
Okay, I have three tips for you. One is Google everything. Like anything you do not understand, just type in crypto. What is Ethereum? Crypto. What is Bitcoin? Crypto. What is MEV? You know, and that way you will get the most relevant research or results in your Google search, right? If you don't know what questions to ask everything. Number two, use Twitter in crypto. Follow people who are the founders of crypto companies, are the founders of protocols. Follow people who seem like they know what they're doing and have a history of integrity, because there are a lot of crypto influencers that scam their followers into buying NFTs that turn out to be fake and things like that. So like do research on the people you follow. Make sure you follow trustworthy people on Twitter, and then see who they follow, see what they like, see what they're talking about. And that's a great way to get started, because a lot of the crypto community is on Twitter, and Twitter makes it so easy to discover new things by seeing who likes what, who follows who, things like that. And then number three is companies. I highly recommend going to use BuildSpace, which is _BuildSpace. An amazing company. If you are a developer and you want to start developing in Web3, BuildSpace is the best company to go for. They have DIY projects that you can finish in one weekend and get your start in Web3 development as a programmer. To learn about Web3 and like DeFi, I would go into Rabbit Hole GG. Rabbit Hole GG is a great learning resource, and they really walk you through step by step how to engage in DeFi trading and safe wallet practices, things like that. And those are the two companies I currently recommend.
Yeah, I think that's quite clear about if you guys are interested in the Web3 space, I will share a link in the description. Yeah, thank you, Shannon Li, for your time. Good to have you here for the channel. Also, happy Valentine as well to you. So yeah, have a great day.
Thank you, Iman. Happy Valentine's Day, and I'm looking forward to part two.
Okay, yeah, thank you.